Hot Springs, you guys ready? All right, let's welcome him to the stage. 35-12 through his 2 days of fishing from Benton, Arkansas, Jeremiah Kindy. Bring him up here. 5 in the bag to unseat Matt. You need 11-2. If it's anything lighter, it goes to Matt. Looking for 11-2. He's got it, 16 pounds and 7 ounces, and Jeremiah Kindy is going to be your champion. 52.3 is going to be his 3-day total. And he's going to be going out of here a champion, $44,000 richer. And let's hear it for him, your champion, Jeremiah Kindy. And you're no stranger to big-time tournaments. I think they pulled some history. You haven't fished in an Open since 2001, and it was right here. But, why not get back in one and just win the thing?
Well, this one's a little bit better than that one. I think Greg Hackney won that flipping when there was grass up around Shangri-La.
Crazy.
Yep.
The lake's changed a little bit.
A little bit, yes, sir.
But I know you're excited and going out here to Victor, and what better way to do it than on your home pond?
Yeah, I mean, you can go anywhere in the country, but winning at home, it's just special.
We didn't talk about thank yous, but I know you got several folks you want to say thank you to.
Definitely my family, and there's one of them right there. Oh, Kibi. So, just like Matt said, my dadgum phone, I couldn't even rig my baits. That means the world to me.
It's awesome. I mean, it was fun to watch it go down today. And the one thing I learned, you got a lot of respect around here. Everybody knows the name Jeremiah Kindy, and they were pulling for you.
Well, it's because of people like my dad, Bruce Pennington, I hang around good people.
You ready for some hardware? Let's get our friends up from St. Croix Rods, Eric and Austin. They're going to bring up the hardware. And Hot Springs, you got one more job. I need you to get loud. He is proud to be called one of you guys, and he is your champion. From Benton, Arkansas, Jeremiah Kindy is going home with the hardware berth to the 2025 Bass Pro Shops Bassmaster Classic. $44,000 richer. And let's hear it for him one more time, your champion, Jeremiah Kindy. And there you go. $44,000 later. Let's hear it again for him. Keep those applause going.
Well, there he is, your champion, the second St. Croix Bassmaster Open for 2024. This one on Lake Ouachita in Arkansas, and that man is Jeremiah Kindy. Jeremiah Kindy, who lives in Benton, Arkansas, not very far away, certainly was the favorite leading up to this tournament, and he showed why he is all of that and more. The St. Croix Bassmaster Opens presented by 7 Lake Ouachita and Hot Springs has not been visited by the Bassmasters for 2 decades. Maxim responsible for our live coverage and what coverage we were able to bring you on this championship Saturday from Lake Ouachita. Take a look at the map of Arkansas, and there in the western section in the Ouachita Mountains, we find Lake Ouachita, 40,000 acres, and what a great, great test it is for some of the best Opens anglers we have ever seen in the history of the Bassmasters. Well, welcome to the Bassmaster Studios, sponsored by Marathon. Tommy Sanders here with Ronnie Moore, and special guest here is Beau Browning. Still in his college career, but probably more hours on Lake Ouachita than a handful of other experienced anglers. And Beau, what did you think about how it showed out for the Bassmasters this week?
It was very interesting. This tournament coming into it, we didn't have anything to go off of. We haven't had a tournament of this caliber come in a long time, and not with the coverage that we have nowadays. So coming in, no one really knew what to expect. There were some local guys, obviously, in the hunt, and we were wondering if they were going to just run away with it or not, but we saw some other guys that had never been here before really showcase their talent. Lake Ouachita is a beautiful lake, full of fish. What really surprised me, was the giant fish that we saw this week. We had a 9.15, a 10.14, or a 10.15. Giant fish really showcased what Lake Ouachita has swimming around in it and the potential for people maybe coming here in the future.
There's the man with the 10-14, Zach Gutrema of Chameau, New York, up there in St. Lawrence. country. And man, oh man, who was expecting 10 pounds and 14 ounces? I mean, that could be, it may well be the big bass of the year for the Open.
Yeah, to think there was a 10-pound and 3-ouncer at Lake Okeechobee, our first stop, and that was the big bass. To see a 10-14 brought in, I asked him, I said, Zach, did you have a good day? He said, yeah, I think I have 22 pounds, and 11 of it was one fish. So absolutely incredible. And as we go from people who far away in New York, Canada, people like that made the top 10, but a guy just down the road calls Greason Lake his home here in Arkansas. Matt Baker from the from Arkansas Tech University started the final day in second place. It was two locals at the top. A little bit tougher for him, but we saw the same kind of program. A lot of treble hook baits, whether it was a jerk bait or a lipless, were a factor for Matt Baker.
He was super solid, 17-11 on day number 1, 16-15 on day number 2. You knew he had come to play here on Ouachita and knew his way around.
Yeah, Matt Baker coming into this tournament, you know, he had to deal with the home field disadvantage, but was able to put those kind of thoughts behind him in a way and really capitalize on the week at hand and make do with what he had, and obviously did a great job at it.
Tell us about where he was fishing this week, because you can choose a lot of places as a local, and he chose, it seemed like, the north side of the lake, which normally warms up quicker than the south side of the lake based on wind direction. It was also a protected day from the north wind.
Yeah, he did a great job of kind of playing the conditions, dealing with what Mother Nature threw at us, and he ran away with the north end of the lake specifically. He knows where those bigger fish like to hang out and was able to go capitalize on it, like you said, with treble hooks baits, jerk bait, lipless crankbait, things like that. Really just shined in his local knowledge of where to be and when to be there.
Matt Baker, not one of our EQ competitors this time around. Of course, those would be the ones who are trying to qualify for the elites. But still a great effort there, and some good publicity for the young man from Glenwood, Arkansas.
Hey, it could be a springboard into maybe fishing all 9 of the Opens next year, something like that, because Matt definitely has the skill. Now over to our possible highest finisher for our top 10 today. That is a part of the EQ points race, trying to make the Elite Series and 9 shots at the Classic. Blake Schroeder, I talked to him on the phone last night, Tommy. He squeaked in 10th place. We saw a big move from Easton Fothergill at Okeechobee, who started last going into the final day. Same thing for Blake Schroeder, gaining those additional points. These are free points today. He couldn't drop anywhere, and he gained and had a great day. He was one who lived more on the west side of the lake and utilized the chatterbait. Got to fish around the power fish, shallow, and some of that dirtier water.
Beau, you mentioned that he was one of those anglers who really did take to, he danced with what brung him here. He basically relied on his strengths and got the job done.
Right, you can tell he's a power fisherman, shallow water guy. Went and found that dirty water, found what felt right to him, and just ran with it all week long in a tournament where you really don't have a whole lot to go off of. Sometimes that's the best thing to do.
Seems like the conditions changed every day, Tommy. It was 70 degrees and sunny and still on day 1. It was cloudy and windy yesterday with plummeting temperatures, and then today it started off frigid and it stayed frigid all day long, and these guys have had to adapt all 3 days.
Well, there he is, the man of the hour, Jeremiah Kindy. Again, so much experience here on Lake Ouachita. He seemed to know what was around every corner. Beau, he seemed to have a map in his head of where this day was going and what would happen at each one of those points.
This was an incredible showcase of how local knowledge can come to benefit you in the future. Jeremiah is one of those guys that he's known this lake his whole life. He knows every little nook and cranny. He knew where to be, when to be there, and what to throw down to the angle of his cast, and it shined, I mean, big time.
To see one of the first 5 casts of the day be a 3.5 pounder for Jeremiah, that just set the tone for the rest of his day. Maybe a little bit about an hour-long lull for him before number 2, but 2, 3, 4, and 5 all came in short order, and then we started to see the adjustment. He went from that main lake point wind-based area, got to go into a more of a pocket, a little divot, maybe sheltered by some islands, where that sun was really beating in the back of those ditches. And all of a sudden, the afternoon, every time he'd cull, every hour or so, it was a 3+ pounder.
Lake Ouachita is one of those unique places, where the home field disadvantage can certainly be overcome. It can really hurt you in other places, but here, that specific knowledge of specific situations through the seasons can really carry a man to the top of a tournament.
No doubt, and Jeremiah did a remarkable job at managing those spots over the course of 3 days of competition. As well as practice too, you know, he had to obviously keep in mind that people were going to be watching him and paying attention to what he's doing. So he did a great job of managing all this and the pressure as well today we got to see.
He might have idled in today confident in his weight, 15 plus pounds or so at least, but he was unsure because of the fact we've had a 9:14 weight in this week. We've had a 10:14. It had to loom in the leader's head that what if 7th place caught a 10-pounder? That's a game changer with how close the leaderboard was. But Jeremiah, in the end, takes the title. 50 grand richer, roughly, and a classic berth on the line as long as he gets to fish the rest of the division.
Well, home field advantage works out sometimes. It worked out in a big way for your champion, Jeremiah Kindy, from the St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Ouachita.